I never believed in ghost stories, especially not the kind that involve technology. I'm the type of person who trusts logic. If something turns on by itself, there's a glitch. If something makes noise, there's a reason. That's what I told myself the night my smart speaker whispered my name. It happened at exactly 2:13 a.m. I know the time because I checked it immediately. I woke up suddenly, not fully awake, just hovering in that space between sleep and consciousness. My room was dark, except for the faint blue standby light from the speaker on my dresser. Then I heard it. Soft, close, barely above a whisper. Daniel. That's my name. At first I thought I was dreaming. You know how your brain can replay sounds as you wake up? I figured it was that, until it said it again. Daniel. This time slower, clearer, and unmistakably coming from the direction of the speaker. I froze. The room was silent except for my ceiling fan. My heart started pounding so loudly I could hear it in my ears. I waited for the usual activation chime, the little tone it makes before responding to a command. There was nothing. No chime, no notification sound, just silence. Then the blue light flickered once and turned off. I didn't move for a full minute. Finally, I grabbed my phone and opened the app connected to the speaker. There were no recent voice logs, no recorded commands, no activity history at 2:13 a.m. It was as if nothing had happened. I unplugged it anyway. I wasn't scared, not yet, just unsettled. The next morning, I convinced myself it was a glitch. Maybe it picked up audio from outside, maybe a radio frequency interference, maybe I imagined it. That explanation lasted exactly one day. The following night, I stayed up intentionally. 1:45 a.m., 2 a.m., 2:12 a.m., nothing. I actually felt stupid for waiting. Then my phone buzzed, a spam email notification. I looked down at the screen. 2:13 a.m., and from across the room, a soft, static crackle. The speaker was unplugged, completely disconnected. The cord was still sitting on my nightstand. The blue light shouldn't have been on, but it was, dim, flickering. And then, Daniel. Not mechanical, not robotic. It sounded like someone standing in my room, breathing between syllables. Daniel. This time, it wasn't curious. It was patient, like it had been waiting. I couldn't move. The air felt heavy. My bedroom door was closed, windows locked, no TV on, no neighbors close enough for a prank, and the speaker was not plugged in. The blue light pulsed one more time. Then everything went dark. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. At 6 a.m., I packed the speaker back into its original box. I was planning to return it, but when I picked it up, it was warm. Not warm like electronics after use. Warm like something that had just been holding it. And that's when I noticed something I swear wasn't there before. On the side of the device, tiny scratches, like someone had tried to carve letters into the plastic. 4 of them. D-A-N-I. The last letter was unfinished, and at exactly 2:13 a.m. tonight, I'm leaving it unplugged again, just to see if it finishes spelling my name. I didn't throw the speaker away. I should have. Instead, I put it back on my dresser, unplugged, facing the wall. Like that would somehow make a difference. I told myself I needed proof, because if I didn't prove it, then the only other explanation was that I was losing my mind. The third night, I didn't wait for 2:13 a.m. I went to bed like normal. That was my first mistake. I woke up to sunlight. For a moment, I felt relief. Nothing happened. No whisper. No blue light. No scratches. I even laughed at myself while brushing my teeth. Then I checked my phone. 3:02 a.m. Motion detected. Living room camera. I don't have a living room camera. At least, I didn't think I did. The notification was from the same smart home app that controls the speaker. My stomach tightened. I opened it. There, under connected devices, was something new. Living room, active. It showed a green status dot. Online, streaming, I live alone. Slowly, I walked out of my bedroom. The apartment was quiet, still, normal, but the app still showed the camera as live. When I tapped on it, the screen stayed black. No image, just static, and faint audio. Breathing, low, rhythmic, like someone standing very still, listening. I backed out of the app. The device list refreshed. Living room, offline. Then it disappeared completely, like it had never been there. That day at work, I couldn't focus. I work 9 to 5. Same routine every day. Lunch at 12:30, coffee at 3:15, gym at 6 p.m. I've had that schedule for 2 years. At exactly 12:30 p.m., while I was unwrapping my sandwich, my phone vibrated. Unknown notification from the smart speaker app. There was no device connected, no speaker plugged in, but the notification read, "Enjoy your lunch, Daniel." I felt cold. I hadn't told anyone my lunch break. Not recently, not online, not in messages. I left work early. When I got home, the apartment felt wrong. You know that feeling when something is slightly out of place? The air heavier, quieter than usual. I went straight to my bedroom. The speaker was exactly where I left it, unplugged, facing the wall. But the scratches were deeper now. D-A-N-I-E, the E had been finished. There was space for one more letter. I checked my Wi-Fi router. No unknown devices connected. No strange logins. I even changed my password. Disconnected everything. Factory reset the speaker. Then I did something I should have done earlier. I checked the activity logs more carefully. There were no commands at 2:13 a.m., but there were scheduled routines. One routine, created 3 days ago. Title, "Good night, Daniel." Trigger time, 2:13 a.m. Action, audio playback. I never created that. The audio file name was just a string of random characters. When I tapped preview, it played nothing, just silence. But the progress bar moved. 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. Then it ended. File length, 4.7 seconds. The exact length of time it takes to whisper a name. That night, I didn't stay in my bedroom. I slept on the couch, speaker still unplugged, bedroom door closed. At 2:13 a.m., my phone lit up. No sound, just the screen turning on. The smart home app opened by itself. The living room camera appeared again. This time, when I tapped it, there was an image. Grainy, black and white, like night vision. It was my living room. From the corner near the ceiling, I could see the couch. I could see myself lying there. And standing beside the couch was a dark shape, tall, still, facing me. The timestamp read 2:13:07 a.m. I looked up from my phone. The room was empty. Nothing beside me. When I looked back down, the shape was closer, leaning slightly forward, as if watching my face. The audio crackled, and through the phone speaker, I heard it. Not from the device on my dresser, not from across the room, from the phone in my hand. Daniel. This time it didn't sound patient. It sounded familiar, like it had been studying me, learning how I breathe, how I move, when I sleep. The camera feed glitched. The screen went black. And then a final notification appeared. Routine updated. New trigger time, 3:15 p.m. That's when I drink coffee. It knows my schedule, and I never told it. It's not just saying my name anymore. It's watching, And tomorrow, at 3:15 p.m., I'm not going to the cafe. I'm going to stay at my desk and wait, because if it sends another message while I'm wide awake, then I'll know this isn't a glitch, it isn't a hack, and it definitely isn't just a speaker. I didn't go to the cafe at 3:15 p.m. I stayed at my desk, laptop open, phone face up, smart home app already loaded, 3:14 p.m. My co-workers were talking behind me. Normal office noise, keyboard clicks, someone laughing. 3:15 p.m. My phone vibrated. Notification. Hope you like it black, no sugar. That's how I drink my coffee. Black, no sugar, no milk. I didn't move. My hands were ice cold. The notification came from the smart home app, but there are no devices connected. The speaker is unplugged. The camera doesn't exist, and I changed every password. I opened the app. Under devices, nothing. Completely empty. Then another notification. Living room, streaming. I didn't tap it immediately. I looked around the office instead. No one was looking at me. No one seemed to notice anything strange. Slowly, I tapped the notification. The feed loaded instantly. It was my apartment, not the living room this time. The bedroom. The camera angle was low. From the dresser, from where the speaker sits, the speaker was facing the wall, unplugged. But in the feed, it was facing the room, pointing directly at the bed. The timestamp read, "Live." Then the camera tilted slightly, as if something had nudged it. The view shifted toward the bedroom door, and the door was open. I left it closed this morning. I ran. I don't even remember telling my boss. I just grabbed my keys and left. The entire drive home, I kept the live feed open. The bedroom door stayed open. Nothing moved, no shape, no figure, just stillness. When I reached my apartment building, my hands were shaking so badly, I dropped my keys. I unlocked the door. Silence. Everything looked normal. Living room, kitchen, nothing disturbed. I walked to the bedroom. The door was closed, exactly how I left it. I opened it slowly. The speaker was still facing the wall, unplugged, just like before. I checked the breaker panel. Everything was on. Then something hit me. I checked the router. No lights, no signal. Completely dead. I pressed the power button. Nothing. I unplugged it, plugged it back in. Still nothing. I checked the outlet. No power. I went back to the breaker. The switch for the living room and bedroom outlets was off, flipped down. I know I didn't touch it. I flipped it back on. The router lights came back to life. Wi-Fi reconnecting. And immediately, my phone buzzed. Notification. Connection restored. Restored? Restored from what? I opened the app. Under system logs, internet disconnected. 2 days ago. 2 days ago. That means everything that happened last night. The live feed, the whisper from my phone, the notifications, happened while my Wi-Fi was off. I checked my power usage app. There was a scheduled maintenance outage listed from 1:58 a.m. to 3:04 a.m. Last night, citywide, total power outage, which means at 2:13 a.m., there was no electricity in my apartment, no Wi-Fi, no power, no connection, nothing that could run a device. But I heard it, and I saw the feed. My phone buzzed again, new notification. Battery mode activated. I froze. Battery mode. The speaker doesn't even have a battery. It's corded only. I walked slowly toward the dresser. The air felt heavy again, the same way it did that first night. The blue light on the speaker flickered once. Impossible. It's not plugged in. I stepped closer. The scratches were deeper. Daniel. My full name was carved now, perfectly finished. Below it, new letters, small, uneven, 2 to 1 3. My phone screen lit up on its own. The front camera activated. I could see my own face. Behind me, in the reflection of the black TV screen, something moved. Tall. Too tall. Its head almost touching the ceiling. Standing directly behind me. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. The phone audio crackled, and it spoke. Not from the speaker, not from the room, from inside the phone, inside my hand. Power doesn't matter. The voice wasn't whispering anymore. It wasn't patient. It wasn't studying. It sounded amused, like I had finally figured out something obvious. Then the screen went dark, total black, not powered off, just black. The breaker flipped again, on its own. I heard the click behind me. The apartment lights died. Silence. No refrigerator hum. No traffic outside. Nothing. Complete stillness. Then, right beside my ear, close enough that I felt breath. "See you at 2:13. The lights came back on. I was alone. Phone screen normal. Breaker back in the on position. Router blinking steadily. Everything normal. Except for one thing. It's 9:42 p.m. right now. I'm sitting on my couch, writing this. And the app just updated again. New device connected. Name, bedroom, occupied. Status, active. I didn't wait for 2:13 a.m. Not this time. If it didn't need power, if it didn't need internet, then destroying the speaker wouldn't solve anything. But I had to try. I brought it to my kitchen, put it on the counter, grabbed a hammer. I hesitated longer than I want to admit, because part of me felt like I wasn't about to destroy plastic. It felt like I was about to provoke something. Power doesn't matter. That's what it said. Fine, let's test that. I swung. The first hit cracked the casing. Second hit shattered the top grille. Third hit split it open completely. Wires exposed. Circuit board fractured. Dead. Completely dead. I felt relief for about 5 seconds. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown notification. No app icon, just text on a blank gray box. Battery mode deactivated. I didn't sleep in the apartment that night. I stayed at my friend Marcus's place. I didn't tell him everything, just that I thought someone hacked my system. He works in IT security. If anyone could explain this, it would be him. I showed him the logs, the routines, the outage timestamps. He went quiet. "That's not possible," he said. "I know." He scrolled through everything again. Then he frowned. "There's no external access record." "What does that mean?" "It means no one logged in, no remote session, no breach." So if this was hacked, it wasn't through the internet. At 2:12 a.m., we were both awake. Lights on, TV on, speaker destroyed, and sitting in a trash bag in my car. Marcus had my phone connected to his laptop, monitoring traffic. 2:13 a.m. Nothing. No notification. No glitch. No flicker. Marcus leaned back. "See? Probably firmware corruption or..." His laptop speakers crackled. A sharp burst of static. Then audio. Clear. Unmistakable. "Daniel." Marcus froze. He slowly looked at me. "That wasn't your phone," he said. The voice came again. From his laptop. "Daniel." Marcus's monitoring software showed no incoming data, no file playing, no active audio process. The sound wasn't coming from the operating system. It was coming from the hardware, like something was using the speaker directly. Marcus unplugged the laptop. The screen went black. The voice continued for 3 full seconds after it lost power. Then, silence. Marcus stared at me. "What did you bring into my house?" We checked the audio recording, because his software automatically records anomalies. We replayed the clip. Static. Then my name. But when Marcus slowed the audio down, there was something underneath the whisper. Another layer, faint, like two voices speaking at once. He isolated the background frequency, boosted it, and that's when my stomach dropped. It wasn't random noise. It wasn't distortion. It was speech, distorted, stretched, but clear enough. It wasn't saying my name. It was saying, "Open the door," over and over, layered beneath the whisper. Marcus didn't joke anymore after that. He asked me something I didn't expect. "Has anything else in your apartment changed?" I told him about the scratches, the breaker flipping, the door appearing open on the feed. He nodded slowly. Then he asked, "Did anyone die there?" I laughed at first. Then I stopped, because I didn't know. The next day, we went to my apartment together. Daytime, bright sunlight. Everything looked normal again. Too normal. Marcus checked the wiring, the outlets, the breaker. Nothing wrong. Then he walked to my bedroom door. Why is this scratched? I hadn't noticed before, but the inside edge of the door frame had thin vertical marks, like fingernails dragged down wood. From the top of the frame, all the way to the bottom, Marcus crouched. "Daniel." At the base of the frame, there were numbers carved faintly into the paint. 2:13 and my phone buzzed. No notification this time. The screen just lit up. Front camera activated. Marcus stepped into frame beside me. We both saw it. Behind us, in the doorway. Not tall this time, not fully visible, just a shape darker than the hallway behind it. Like absence, like something blocking light. Marcus turned around instantly. Nothing there. When he looked back at the phone, the shape was closer, standing inside the room, right between us. Marcus whispered, "It's not in the room." The shape on screen tilted its head. Then the whisper came, from both our phones at the same time. Mine in my hand, his in his pocket. "Open." Not my name this time, just that word. "Open." Marcus grabbed the bedroom door and slammed it shut. The whisper stopped immediately. Complete silence. The phones went dark. We stood there for a long time, neither of us speaking. Finally, Marcus said something I didn't want to hear. "It's not the speaker." "I know." "It's not the internet." "I know." "It's using devices because that's how you'll look at it." I didn't respond. He looked at the door. "You said it shows up at 2:13. I nodded. Marcus checked his watch. 2:09 p.m. Not a.m., p.m. The door handle twitched. Once, very slightly, from the inside. Marcus stepped back. "Daniel, what's in that room right now?" I didn't answer because the bedroom door was opening, slowly, on its own. And from inside the dark room, in broad daylight, came a whisper, not from a device, not from a speaker, not from a phone, from the air itself. "See you tonight." I didn't go back into the bedroom. Marcus and I stood in the hallway for almost a full minute after the door opened. The room was empty. Sunlight through the blinds. Bed untouched. Speaker destroyed and gone. Nothing there. Nothing that should be there. Marcus finally said what neither of us wanted to admit. "It's reacting to you." That night, I didn't stay at the apartment. Marcus insisted I sleep at his place again. But before we left, I did something stupid. I checked the smart home app one more time. No devices, no routines, no logs. It was clean, like it had never existed. Except for one thing. Under account information, user. Since April 13th, 2:13. April 13th. The day I moved into the apartment. I didn't buy the speaker until 3 weeks after moving in. So why was the account created the day I moved? I never set it up before that. Marcus checked the metadata. The account wasn't created that day. It was activated that day. Big difference. Activation requires a trigger. Something being turned on. Maybe the previous tenant, Marcus suggested. So we asked the landlord. He hesitated, which told me everything. There was a previous tenant. He moved out suddenly. No forwarding address, left most of his furniture behind, including bedroom shelves, mounted exactly where my dresser now sits. Why'd he leave? I asked. The landlord avoided eye contact. He complained about noises. My chest tightened. What kind of noises? Something about someone saying his name. Marcus looked at me slowly. What was his name? The landlord swallowed. Daniel. My blood went cold. That's not possible. The landlord shrugged nervously. I thought it was coincidence. What was his full name? He told me. Different last name, same first name. Daniel. Back at Marcus's place, we searched public records. The previous tenant didn't move out. He vanished. Reported missing. Last seen entering the apartment building at 2:11 a.m., 2 minutes before 2:13. No signs of struggle, no forced entry. Just gone. Marcus leaned back in his chair. It's not targeting you because of the speaker. I already knew. It's targeting whoever lives there. No, he said quietly. It's targeting Daniel. I didn't sleep. Not even a second. At 2:12 a.m., both our phones lit up. No notification sound, just the screens glowing. Front cameras active. We didn't touch them. We didn't move. At 2:13 a.m., the image on both screens changed. It wasn't Marcus's apartment anymore. It was my bedroom. Dark, no lights on, but the camera angle wasn't from the dresser. It wasn't from the corner. It was from the doorway, like someone standing there, watching the bed, watching something lying on it. Marcus whispered, "That's not live," because the figure on the bed was me, sleeping, in my apartment, right now. "That's impossible," I said. "I'm here." On screen, the bedroom version of me shifted slightly, like he was breathing. The timestamp read, April 13th, 2:13 a.m. Not today's date. April 13th. The day I moved in. The day the account activated. The day something was turned on. On screen, bedroom me opened his eyes, slowly, but he didn't look at the doorway camera. He looked directly at us. Through the phone, through time. Marcus dropped his phone. I couldn't move. Bedroom me sat up, tilted his head, and smiled. Not scared, not confused, like he'd been waiting. The audio crackled, not whispering, clear, confident. "You finally understand." Marcus shook his head. "That's not you." I knew, because I would never smile like that. Bedroom me stood up, walked toward the doorway, toward the camera. Each step closer distorted the image, static pulling at the edges. And then he spoke again. It was never the speaker. The screen glitched. And for a split second, the figure wasn't me. It was tall, wrong. Shadow, stretching upward unnaturally. Then it snapped back to my face, smiling. "Someone has to stay." The screen went black. Both phones powered off, completely dead. Battery drained instantly. Marcus grabbed his charger. Nothing happened. The phones wouldn't turn back on. We just stared at each other in silence. Then Marcus said something that made my stomach drop. "Check the time. 2:14 a.m. 1 minute passed." We turned on the TV for light. Local news was playing, volume low. And then the breaking news banner appeared. Man reported missing from downtown apartment complex. My building. Marcus increased the volume. The reporter continued, "Neighbors say the tenant had only lived there a few weeks." A photo appeared on screen. It was me, standing outside my building. Same clothes I wore yesterday, same face, except the timestamp under the photo. April 13th. Marcus slowly turned to look at me. You moved in April 13th, he said. Yeah. What year? I opened my mouth, and nothing came out, because I didn't know. I couldn't remember signing the lease, couldn't remember unpacking, couldn't remember the first night there, just waking up one morning in that bedroom, with the speaker already sitting on the dresser. Marcus's voice sounded distant. Daniel. The lights flickered, just once. And suddenly, I wasn't in Marcus's living room anymore. I was standing in my bedroom, dark, silent, alone. The speaker sat on the dresser, completely intact, no cracks, no damage, blue light glowing softly, 2:13 a.m. on the clock. The bedroom door slowly opened, and in the hallway stood someone looking exactly like me, only calmer, still, smiling faintly. He stepped inside and whispered, "Your turn to watch." The blue light blinked, and I felt myself move, but I wasn't walking, I wasn't breathing, I wasn't standing anymore. I was higher, in the corner of the room, looking down, at the bed, at the door, at him, at the version of me, lying in bed, sleeping peacefully, waiting for 2:13 a.m.